In this video, we are going to talk about the top 10 late-night hosts of all time. So before starting, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for future updates. Since the 1960s, the format of late-night talk shows has remained mostly unchanged. As the MC takes the stage, an announcer, who frequently leads the house band, will rouse the audience. The host then gives a monologue, typically made up of one-liners on current events, before interviewing a noteworthy guest. Musical artists or stand-up comedians will frequently perform, and current shows will attempt to go viral as often as possible. Even those who don't watch late-night TV are familiar with the formula, and it's easy to see why, for decades, it has worked. What's the point of fixing something that isn't broken? Because late night is so well established, the title of greatest host ever is fiercely contested. Who gives the format the best spin? We're here to provide an answer. So take off your work shoes, sit down on the couch, and prepare to laugh. These are the best late-night hosts of all time. Number 10. Jon Stewart. Although Jon Stewart was not the first host of Comedy Central's The Daily Show, he is by far the most popular. Stewart's particular mix of passion, fury and unparalleled comedic abilities changed comedy and journalism during the majority of the Bush and Obama administrations and inspired an entire generation of young people to care about politics. His satires of Tucker Carlson and Jim Cramer have become legendary, and his show is arguably second only to Saturday Night Live in terms of launching the careers of other comedians. Stewart refined the skills of Ed Helms, Stephen Colbert, Steve Carell, John Oliver, Samantha Bee, Hassan Minhaj, and many other performers who have gone on to have successful careers. Stewart quit The Daily Show in 2015, just as the Trump administration was gaining traction. Many admirers thought Stewart's MO of using comedy to speak truth to conservative power was unusual and poor timing. Number 9. David Letterman. Throughout the 1980s, David Letterman hosted NBC's Late Night with David Letterman, honing his skills in preparation for the big job, succeeding his old mentor Johnny Carson as host of The Tonight Show. When Carson resigned in 1992, however, Jay Leno pushed Letterman aside. Letterman packed his belongings, moved to CBS, and hosted The Late Show with David Letterman until Stephen Colbert took over in 2015. Letterman profited from being the late-night runner-up on a consistent basis, as having a competitor to chase encourages a performer to stay fresh. His influence on humor and television is huge. A few contemporary comedians credit Jay Leno as an inspiration, but you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who doesn't reverently and awestruckly mention Letterman's name. Number 8. Stephen Colbert. Although several of the people on this list have hosted multiple shows over the years, few can boast that their presentations were truly unique. The presenter, as well as the format and ratings, can change, but the band, sidekick, writers, and crew frequently remain the same. However, after taking over CBS The Late Show from David Letterman, Stephen Colbert, who rose to stardom as the host of The Colbert Report, transformed into a completely different performance. And he can play both roles equally well. Colbert played an outlandish caricature of a right-wing talk show host, a la Bill O'Reilly, on The Colbert Report, who, at the time, was a major player over at Fox News. Colbert stayed almost entirely in character and provided some of the funniest and most smart humor around. The show went on to become one of the most original and inimitable late-night comedy shows ever. Number 7. Arsenio Hall. By late-night standards, both the original 1989 to 1994 version of The Arsenio Hall Show and its 2013 to 2014 revival were quite brief. This is, of course, a format in which hosts preside over legacy programs for decades before handing the baton off to the next guy in line. But Hall made an impression, and not just because of Bill Clinton's famed saxophone performance during his first presidential campaign in June 1992. Hall's show was timely, amusing, and surprisingly successful with a younger audience. Rather than applauding, his fans would pump their fists while yelling "woof, woof, woof," a ritual borrowed from the Cleveland Browns dog pound bleacher section. Hall's show was required viewing for a few brief but memorable years. Number 6. Trevor Noah. To put it gently, when Trevor Noah took over Comedy Central's The Daily Show from longtime host Jon Stewart, he had some huge shoes to fill. Few people knew who Stewart was, and he was an icon leaving at a turbulent moment, so simply asking wary viewers to line up behind Noah was a hefty ask. Fortunately for everyone, Noah has done an excellent job in the role. He's humorous first and foremost. The South African-born host has spent his whole professional life as a stand-up comedian, and he still performs stand-up tours whenever he can. His abilities are well-honed. Longtime viewers felt the transition to be smooth, albeit missing the prior host behind the desk. Number 5. Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel is a unique individual. He's not as riotously funny as Conan O'Brien or Craig Ferguson. He's not quite as sharp as Letterman. He's not as excitable as Fallon's puppy dog. He can't sing or dance, and he's not as politically involved as the other hosts. He's just a regular guy, a nice, talented, and pleasant person whose ABC show Jimmy Kimmel Live has just enough of everything to make it a regularly gratifying weekday watch. One thing that has surely helped is that Kimmel is as talented as anyone at creating unique viral content. Celebrities read mean tweets is a never-ending source of laughter. His Halloween ritual of filming parents telling their small children that they ate all of their trick-or-treat candy is cruel, but entertaining, especially because you know there'll be a happy ending, even if we don't get to see the kids realize it was all a hoax. Number 4. Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon of Saturday Night Live and Late Night with Jimmy Fallon just can't seem to get a break or stop laughing. He took over as host of The Tonight Show in 2014, just a few years after the show's legacy was shattered by a nasty hosting struggle. But Fallon remained above the fray and got to work, transforming the broadcast into a party where celebs would sing songs, play games, and engage in lighthearted banter. Audiences gradually warmed up to Fallon's family-friendly approach on the long-running show and began to tune in regularly. The Trump era began just as Fallon had managed to establish himself as a comfortable part of America's weeknight routine. His type of lighthearted fun was suddenly out of vogue, replaced with incisive political commentary. Number 3. Seth Meyers. In 2014, the veteran host of Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live took over for Jimmy Fallon on NBC's Late Night. Nobody could have predicted it at the time, but Meyers' distinctive style of political wit made him an ideal host during the Trump years when comedy was flooded with satirical material on a nightly basis. Meyers put it to good use on a regular basis, getting just as much mileage out of each new scandal and stupidity as Trevor Noah and Stephen Colbert. Meyers, on the other hand, is more than simply another caustic TV personality. With a huge smile, quick wit, and solid jokes, he's a charming guy. Number 2. James Corden. After taking over from Craig Ferguson, James Corden transformed CBS' The Late Late Show into a lighthearted, game-filled bash where celebrities come to eat cow tongue, compete in lip-sync battles, or sing their hit songs with Corden in his smash hit Carpool Karaoke series, which is exactly what it sounds like, as if you haven't seen it. To say the least, Corden's best gift is finding new ways to keep the late-night talk show format fresh. It's also a significant one because the typical monologue and interview style is starting to feel boring after decades of little innovation. While being hilarious is crucial, Corden understands that knowing how to go viral is also important. He isn't the only one who has realized this, but he is the most successful. Number 1. Jay Leno. Jay Leno is a television legend. In the 1980s, he rose to prominence as a stand-up comedian and occasional fill-in host for Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show. When Carson stepped down, Leno beat David Letterman to the top job. Letterman went on to have a long and illustrious career at CBS, but no matter how popular his show was, it could never compete with Leno's Tonight Show. Despite the lack of famous moments during his tenure, Leno's broad comedic appeal kept him the unchallenged rating king of the format until the late aughts, when it was time to pass the baton to a new host. But what happened afterward permanently tarnished Leno's reputation. He retired after handing over the program to Conan O'Brien. However, he soon began a new show, which NBC used as a lead-in to Conan O'Brien's Tonight Show. Conan was eventually fired after realizing that he will be shifted to a later time slot to accommodate Leno due to low ratings. What do you think about our video? Let us know in the comment box below. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Thank you.